Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this week's reading vlog. I'm so excited about this because this came to me the other night while I was scrolling on TikTok and I was like, that's a really fun idea. So this week we're gonna have you guys in my TikTok comments decide what book I'm gonna read, but anonymously. So if you guys aren't following me on TikTok, I made this deal with myself earlier this year that I'm going to be posting at least once a day on TikTok, and I have not failed yet, surprisingly. But this week, throughout all the other normal content I'm posting on there, I'm posting 3 videos, which you guys have no idea is part of this video. And in the caption, I'm going to be asking you a this or that type of question. So yesterday I posted a TikTok, a very nonchalant one of me just going on a fun little matcha run, and then in the caption, I made it say, okay, matcha or coffee, you must answer. And throughout all of the comments of you guys answering, I have calculated between the matcha and the coffee, and I have assigned those two to 2 books. You chose matcha. You have subconsciously voted for Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood, and if you voted for coffee, if that is your favorite drink between the 2, you have voted for It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. I just sat here and calculated through all the comments which one got more votes is which one we're going to be reading. If you voted for both of them, if you're a matcha and a coffee girly, those just canceled each other out and they didn't count as a vote. So I'm so sorry if you did that, but that's a slay that you like both of the drinks. Anyway, from right now, the comments on the video, there were about 33 comments that said they liked matcha over coffee, and there were about 40 comments that said they liked coffee over matcha. So our winner is It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. I will say I was counting the matcha ones and got to about 33 for this book, like I said, and as I was counting the coffee ones, I got to 40 and I stopped because obviously that's a clear winner. So there may be more than 40 comments, but again, there's a clear winner here. I actually got it from the bookstore at the town that I'm actually in right now. I went to her book signing there and her Q&A that she had, and she is just the kindest human ever. I've read all of her books at this point. This is her newest release that came out this summer, and I'm very, very excited about it. We're gonna get into this one. I'm actually gonna sit over here on a bench because it's so beautiful out, and this town is also so beautiful. I'm gonna read a bit, start the book over here. Thank you guys for subconsciously voting for our book this week. If you don't know what It's a Love Story is about, I actually started it a few weeks ago, and then I was in a bit of a slump, so I stopped reading it, I put it down, and we're picking it back up now, obviously, but it's about Janie. When I went to the Q&A with Annabelle Monaghan, she actually said she took inspiration from after reading Jeanette McCurdy's non-fiction memoir about her life and about being, you know, a young child actor. So Jane, when she was younger, was actually on a show, and she was kind of like the butt of the joke on her sitcom, and now she's trying to be taken seriously as a Hollywood studio executive. She's trying to get her first project greenlit, and she's riled up by a cinematographer and a one-time crush, Dan Finnegan, and it says that she must turn to the last man she'd ever want to owe, Dan Finnegan, because Jack is playing a festival in Dan's hometown and Dan has an inn. A week in close quarters with Dan as she faces down her past is Jane's idea of hell, but he just might surprise her. While covering up her lie, can they find something true? It has been 2 days since I started this book. I forgot to say that I'm kind of in a slump right now, and I thought this and Problematic Summer Romance would be good 2 options to put for someone in a slump, because I feel like both of the writing styles for Annabelle Monaghan and Ali Hazelwood are so fast-paced, and every time I read one of their books, it's like I get very engrossed very quickly. That's why I kind of chose those as well, because I recently, my last read was my Magnolia Parks reread, and I tried to read another book after that and I DNF'd it, and I just couldn't get into any books. I haven't finished one in so long, so this is honestly a perfect, not only summer read, but if you're in a slump, I feel like any Annabelle Monaghan book is perfect for that. I will say though, this one in comparison to her other reads, which I've read every other Annabelle Monaghan book, and in comparison I think mostly to Nora Goes Off Script and Summer Romance by her, those are my top 2 favorites, and as soon as I started those books, I was immediately in the story. I felt the connection between the 2 main characters, especially felt the connection with our female main character. I loved them in both of those books, and I was really into the story. This one, I don't know what it is about it. I'm not connected to anyone or anything. Like I said, it's a great summer read. It's very atmospheric. They went back to the male main character Dan's hometown on Long Island. They're at the beach right now. It's perfect for the summertime, but I'm not really feeling either of them or their connection at all. She does a great mix of women's fiction and romance, which I definitely am finding in this, because we're following Jane, and her kind of upbringing is definitely interesting. You know, she's a child actor, and right now as an adult in her adulthood, she doesn't really know who she is, and she's not very confident. She lacks a lot of confidence, and she does a lot of embarrassing, quirky types of things because she grew up as the butt of the joke. In their sitcom, like I said in the summary, she was the joke and no one took her seriously. So in her adult life, she still thinks like no one will take her seriously. So it's kind of hard for her, especially in her career, you know, coming out with like a story she wants to make into a movie. And she still feels the same as she did as a kid. So like as an adult, that's like hard. And I feel like she just really needs to find her like inner voice, if that makes sense. And I'm assuming that Dan is going to help her do that. But they actually had like a little meet cute when they first met, but now they work together and they don't really get along that well. But they're on this journey right now to find this other character to like help get a song for the movie so that everyone can take it more seriously and they'll be more on board to making it into an actual movie. Like they're on this journey right now together, but they're chilling at the beach right now. So yeah, I'm not completely connected to the story or the characters in this one specifically, but I'm enjoying it. It's definitely a fast-paced read. It's great for the season that we're in, but I don't think it's gonna be one of my favorites from Annabelle Monaghan, which I'm upset about because I felt like I was gonna really enjoy this one going to her signing. The way she talked about it and the way she was describing it and all the jokes and stuff, like I can really feel her humor and her like voice in this book after like hearing her talk about it. Like I can really tell just like, I don't know, the way that she would like crack jokes. Like she had the whole entire audience at the signing like laughing so hard, and like every time Jane makes a joke or just something in here is kind of like humorous, like I can hear Annabelle Monaghan's like voice in it, and it's so fun going to author signings and then reading a book by that author or whatever the book was. Like you can really feel the author in it. Anyway, I'm going to the beach tomorrow, so I'm very excited to be reading this on the beach. I'm going to hopefully finish it tomorrow. I think it'd be really fun to read this on the beach, just completely binge it. That's my goal for this one. So maybe my feelings will change on the characters, maybe they'll grow on me more. I'm hoping they do because I love her writing style. It's like perfect for the summertime and for a bingeable read. So we'll see how that goes. Love story. My beach day was so good. I had such a nice time at the beach. I didn't finish it there. I think I came home with like 100 pages left and then I finished it yesterday. So it's been a couple days, but I didn't have any other updates because I feel like nothing really changed for me within the story or the characters. I still am walking away with this book knowing I'm going to forget it, but still would recommend it for like a good beach read. I think if I were to recommend any of Annabelle Monaghan books, this wouldn't be the first one I go to recommend, but it was still a good read. I didn't hate the book, but I didn't love the book. I'm just kind of like in the middle here. I can say about the characters, even though I didn't connect to them or really care about them, I didn't really feel their chemistry a lot of the times as well, but I can understand them, and I think that's what Annabelle Monaghan did really, really well with the characters. Like you can understand how they grew up with their families. Like Dan's family, he comes from so many siblings, like so many brothers that are all very alike, and they all kind of like rib at each other, make jokes at each other, and he had to like step out of that to kind of find himself. And with Jane, obviously growing up on a sitcom, being the butt of the joke, she always puts on like a mask, but with Dan she could be vulnerable and be herself, and I think that's what she really needed. So I understand why they are the way they are, what they need in their love and everything like that, but I just like personally didn't love them. They're not my favorite characters. It's fast paced, it's definitely a bingeable read. I think out of all of her books, it's probably like my third, maybe fourth favorite, but I had a good time reading it. It did get me out of my slump. Like I'm now excited to go pick up my next book and continue reading, so maybe it did what it had to do, being a fast-paced beach type of read, but I'm kind of in the middle here on this one. I don't really have much to say about it. I won't say I had a bad time reading it. I had a good enough time. The next TikTok I posted was asking whether you like to read a physical book, you like to hold a physical copy, or if you're a Kindle reader. Now I knew this one would be tricky because I'm both, but right now in this moment I feel like I'm more of a physical reader, but like 5 days ago I could have said Kindle, so it depends on the day. But I was just hoping when I posted that TikTok, like at that moment, like what type of reader are you? And I knew a lot of the comments were gonna say both, and they did say both. I feel like majority of the comments were both, and I should have put that as one of the options, but I didn't. And I definitely should have. So if you picked physical and you're a physical copy reader, then we're gonna read Main Characters by Hannah Orenstein. This is a newer release and the cover is absolutely stunning. And if you picked Kindle, if you're a Kindle girly, if you're a Kindle reader, I was gonna read Remarkably Bright Creatures. That one I was gonna get on Libby because right now there's no wait for it, so I would have read it on the Kindle if the Kindle one won, but physical copy did win. I calculated it last night, and because there were so many comments saying both, there weren't many of them that were either Kindle or physical, but in comparison, Kindle got 24 votes and physical got 36. This one I got recommended to me on Fable, and this one is described kind of as an adult parent trap. Now, I don't think these two characters, our main characters, are trying to get their parents back together. I think it's more so they're two sisters that didn't know about each other and they're trying to save their house or something like that. It's like a literary fiction, contemporary type fiction, so it's not a romance of any sort. Maybe there will be a romance within it, who knows. But it says 30 years of family secrets, two sisters who have never met, one summer to unravel it all. This feels like the perfect summer read as well, so I'm gonna start this. I do want to go read outside and walk for a little bit, but it did just hit 90 degrees. I'll give a better summary once I get further in, but I'm so ecstatic about this one just because The Parent Trap is one of my top movies, like top 3 movies of all time. I don't know how many times I've rewatched it. The cover is absolutely stunning. So let's go start this, let's go walk a bit, and I'll give a better summary and some thoughts when I get further in. Before I hit 50%, I had myself a solo beach day today, which was so fun. That's one of my favorite days, is going to the beach by myself, spending time there reading, doing my own thing. It was so much fun, but I thought this would be the perfect book to bring with me, and I've found myself extremely bored. I would be reading this and then I would just like close it and I'd be like wanting to do anything but read the book, and that's so sad because I thought this one was gonna be maybe like a new favorite of mine. The summary and just like the premise and the comparison to The Parent Trap, I just had like high hopes for this, and it's just very boring, and I don't like our characters, and I'm not loving the plot, and I feel like there's not much of a plot. Our two main characters lost their father, and one of them actually knew about the other sister, the other one had no idea, so it's kind of similar to The Parent Trap in some ways, but like not really at all. I can see the similarities, but these two sisters have different mothers, and one of them, like I said, knew the other one, and there's this whole like situation going on where they had different views of their father. Like one of them spent a lot of time with him, or more time than the other one, in a positive light, and then the other one kind of sees him in more of like a negative light, and you can tell that these characters or these sisters are supposed to be different like type of sisters. One's supposed to be like the mean one, the other one's supposed to be like the nice one, but the nice one, in my opinion, is just very whiny, and the both of them are acting kind of very childish. Like, I thought grief would be a big part of this book, and we're not really even talking about the father in that sense, or no one's really even grieving. It's talked about in the beginning, and then we kind of like are just bickering back and forth and kind of like bad mouthing the other sister to like our friends and stuff. And it just like doesn't make any sense. I don't love the plot. The characters are very boring, and I don't know, I was gonna DNF it, but then I started listening to the audiobook on the beach, and I think that's the way to go. If I were to read this, I think I'd just be very bored, and I would probably put it down because I don't really care to see like where it goes at this point. But I'm listening to the audio and I'm liking the audio. There's not much of a plot, like I said. I don't even know where the story's gonna go. I'm assuming it's just gonna be these two sisters like getting over that bridge and finally like acting like sisters and enjoying each other's company, because right now they're just like bickering like very young kids, and I feel like maybe they missed out on that young part where you're just like bickering with your siblings like all the time and fighting all the time. But for me, it's just like they're in their 30s and they're kind of acting just like teenagers, and I'm not loving that. And I'm just very bored. Like, I don't care about either of the characters. I'm not emotionally invested into anything that they're doing. There's also like casual cheating going on, which is just very weird to me. I don't know. I'm not gonna DNF it though. I'm gonna continue listening to the audiobook. I'm hoping the second half, the sisters will kind of turn a leaf and realize that they would need each other in a time like this. I think the second half will be telling of how I feel and like my rating and everything, because I have one in my head right now of what it would be, but I need to see it through to the end. So that's my update. Not a very good one, but nonetheless, we're gonna finish this book up. I'm gonna listen to a bunch tonight, and then tomorrow hopefully we'll finish it. But yeah, we'll see how the rest goes. Guys, I started reading again this morning. I'm like halfway through, and I think the second half is gonna be better. I know I said yesterday that they were bickering a lot and they were just kind of being very annoying and childish, but there's not much of a plot, so I'm still a bit bored, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. They're not acting like children anymore, which is nice. And they're about to watch a movie together. She says, "What do you think of this one?" Holding up the Lindsay Lohan version of The Parent Trap. Will that be too weird? Identical twins separated at birth and raised on different continents meet as preteens as at a lakeside summer camp? Probably, but it's also perfect. Oh, the sprinklers are on, and they're spraying me, so that's good. Are giving me whiplash, literally whiplash, and the choices that they make, the decisions that they make are questionable, seriously questionable. I'm almost done though, probably got like 50 pages left, and second half is definitely better than the first, but like to what extent I'm not sure. Reading / listening to main characters yesterday. I was very divided on what I wanted to rate this. I was between a 2 / 2.5, and I think if I read this book fully, no audiobook, I'd give it around a 2 or 2.5. But since I listened to the audiobook, I actually enjoyed that way more, and I think I'm gonna stick with a 3-star for this one. And also the second half definitely picked up. I think this book is very messy. It has family drama, but like not in a way where I could like understand why the characters do what they do, if that makes any sense. I think just all across the board, I wanted it to go a bit deeper into the characters and their relationships and grief especially. I feel like that's like the surrounding theme of the book, but like we don't really dive deep into it like at all. It's all very surface level, the characters, the relationships, and everything. And I feel like if we went deeper into it, I would be able to understand why the characters do what they do. Not even just the sisters, but like all the other side characters, why they do what they do, and I would be able to like sympathize with them and be like, okay, like I understand why you're making this decision to be with this person. Like all these different things that they're doing, I was just like, the audacity that one character had and the feelings that she felt and the way she tried to like validate herself and like what she was doing, it was just like I was beside myself. I was like, there's no way you think you're right in this situation. And I'm a person that likes books where they have unlikable characters, messy characters, but I had to understand why they act like that. And I feel like with this one, I just like couldn't see it. Wish we went deeper into it because I feel like I could have connected with this one and I would have really liked it. And I do think the Parent Trap whole thing take very loosely when going into this. There are some themes like the sisters and the same father and like stuff like that. They watch the Parent Trap, but other than that, there's not much about this that is similar to the Parent Trap. So it's one of my favorite movies, and after reading this, I do want to go watch the movie just to like refresh my memory and how much I love that movie. But this book is not much like it. I would recommend it, but not if you're in a slump. I don't think this is a good book if you're like can't really get into a book right now because it's very slow moving and there's not much happening. But I would recommend the audiobook to put it on in the background as like a summer book to listen to. But other than that, it wasn't my favorite, and I'm very upset about it because I really wanted to love this book, but it was okay. The next TikTok I posted was asking whether you were a beach person or a city person, and I was scrolling through the comments and there was an overwhelming vote for one over the other. And I don't know why I thought this one would be way closer in votes than it was. I thought because a lot of people live in the city, it would get a lot more votes, but then I realized I asked whether you were a city person or a beach person, and just because you live in the city doesn't make you a city person. So if city won, the book for that one was Somewhere in the City by Alex Astor, and I was really excited about that one. I'm also excited about the beach one, and that one is The Summer We Ran by Audrey Ingram. Like I said, there was an overwhelming amount of votes for one over the other, and that was the beach one. So we're going to be reading The Summer We Ran by Audrey Ingram. The cover of this is so beautiful. It came out, I believe, in the May time, but I was saving it for the summer, and I've been in a bit of a slump. No books have been really doing it for me. As you can tell, my latest reads haven't been like the highest rated. I think if anything can get me out of a slump, it was either one of these two books, because I've heard Somewhere in the City was very rom-com-esque, very fast-paced. I think it's like a shorter romance book, and then this one's actually a second chance romance in the summertime. So I knew both of them would be up my alley, but I'm really excited this one won. It says in the summer of 1996, her and the teenage boy next door fall in love, and then tragedy strikes, and now it's years later, 2 decades later. After their epic teenage romance, they're both running for the governor of Virginia, where secrets from that summer threaten to shatter their families, their political futures, and the memory of the first love that shaped their lives. I'm a sucker for a second chance romance. Make it summer themed, and it's even more higher chance of it being higher rated. I love a summer second chance romance for some reason, and this one has both of that. So I'm excited to start this. I haven't read a book by this author. I don't know if she has other books. Oh, she does. She has 2 other books aside from this one, but this was her newest release. So I'm gonna go start this. I'm very excited. Thank you guys for voting, and let's get into it. Starting off, first chapter. Actually, the first chapter was the past timeline, and it basically was her in a situation and also saying how she just lost him. But the first actual chapter in present day, she has a husband, and I'm like, whenever that happens, it's such a sticky situation, because it has to be done in the right way. Because if you start the book with a different significant other, and we know this book is probably going to end with them together, it's like, how do you navigate that in the right way? I don't know. That always makes me nervous, but I guess we'll see how the author does it. Do a bit of an update because I'm about to hit halfway on this book. It's going very fast, definitely fast paced. I started listening to the audiobook though, because no book right now, seriously, I don't know if this is going to be an ongoing thing for a bit, but I just like can't sit and read. My slump is so weird because I want to read so bad, but like I can't focus on a book, and I don't know if it's the book or if it's me or if it's a mix. So I've been doing audiobook and reading, and it's going great for both of them. I didn't realize that this book is going to have dual point of view, and then we got to another chapter in the audiobook and there was a man's voice, and I was like, no way. Also, like, rainy and cloudy again. We had a heat wave, and now it's just gloomy, and it's like the weather can't decide what it wants to do, if it wants to be summer or not. So I went from a bathing suit and the beach to a sweatshirt and leggings, which is crazy to me. But anyway, back to the book. I'm enjoying it. It's definitely less romance heavy in the present day than what I expected it to be, because not only does she have a significant other and she's running in the race, Grant also present day has a wife and kids, and it's like, that is just so interesting to me, like what's gonna happen there, if they're gonna reconnect at all or not. And that's what's making me more intrigued, I think, because it's not your typical second chance when they see each other again, they're immediately drawn to each other. It's more like they have resentment to each other because they only spent one summer together a very long time ago, like decades ago. So it's like, I can't tell if the connection and the chemistry is still there present day. So I'm interested to see like what she's gonna do with that. But in past timeline, because you get both the timelines, back in the day, her and him grew up in very different childhoods and upbringings. He was definitely way more privileged than her. He came from a very rich family, was born into a rich family, went to boarding schools, and he also had kind of like absent parents. More so his father was very strict, very harsh, very angry, and didn't really give him any attention, put a lot of pressure on him, and expected a lot from him. So he feels that pressures and feel connected to his parents. And I think he found that in Tess pretty early on, that she was someone that didn't come from a lot. So she's asking, you know, all the right questions. She wants to really get to know him, and he hasn't had that in his life yet. So he, I think, falls for her very fast. And it's like you don't really feel them connecting. It's like their second hangout, he kind of loves her, and I'm like, that was really quick. It was really, really quick. So I love a second chance romance when they get to know each other. Like in the past timeline, you see them first connecting, and then in the present, you know, there's so much history between them. But in this one, I don't feel that. It's a very interesting take on the second chance, because the present day is just not what I'm used to reading in a second chance timeline. But in the present day, there's a lot of secrets that are coming out, and like no one knows that they knew each other back in the day. They had this like summer of love or whatever it was. Things are now coming out about it, and it could ruin their campaign, obviously. So I'm definitely intrigued to see what's gonna happen now. Like I can't see a present day them getting back together, especially because they're on two sides of the political parties as well. Like it's a whole thing. I think you can definitely see in the past timeline how their upbringing is and their different like opinions and stuff, how different they really are. And I'm very interested to see like why they broke apart and they haven't talked to each other in all these years and all of that stuff. So lots of things to be unveiled and things to learn about still. So I'm definitely intrigued. I want to keep going. I definitely want to know what's going to happen in the present day and where we're going to go from here, because they've only seen each other like a couple times and they had to debate against each other and everything like that. I also love the title of this book for some reason, because I feel like the past timeline and the like present day, it can be like used for both, because the summer we ran like against each other in like the debates and everything like that, or the summer they ran back in the day. I don't know, I really like the play on the title. Anyway, I'm gonna go back into it. I'm very intrigued to see how this one ends. I'm not like obsessed with it, but it's definitely keeping my interest, so that's good. Hate Grant's father. Oh my god. I've been blindsided one too many times during this book, and I don't know if it's because I wasn't expecting, not like plot twist, but like what was happening. But they've all taken me so off guard. There's been like 3 times I've just been like jaw dropped. It makes so much more sense now. Like these two make so much more sense with the context, which you would think it would, but wow. This is crazy, and it's not even just the romance that is so crazy. It's like the past and the history, like what actually happened. And in the beginning I was like, I can't even see like the chemistry really between these two, and like objectively these two characters are not compatible. Like in the romance sense, like they just don't make sense. They have different views, they come from different upbringings, and like they could make it work. And I could see, you know, they have a physical attraction to each other, young love. I didn't even feel like the, you know, nostalgic feeling you get from a young love in the second chance romance. I wasn't getting that, but the storyline, aside from like the romance, it hooked me. Like I've been so invested to see what was coming about, and we found a few things out, but like there's still more that's coming up, and I'm like, each time I'm just completely like shook. So I wonder if there's anything else after this. This could feel like the last thing that we just found out, because the book's almost over, but like it's like one thing after the other. Okay, I finished the book. Honestly, this surprised me. In the beginning, I honestly didn't think I was going to enjoy it. I wasn't very connected to the characters. I didn't feel their romantic connection or anything like that. But as the story kept going, like you guys saw my reactions, there was so much happening and so much history between these two. And I just thought that the connection was going to be, you know, the young love from 2 separate sides of an upbringing and everything like that. But there was way more to their history that you find out about as it goes on. And obviously the past and present timelines being told in that way, you don't know the full context until you keep keep reading, and then you just find out so much about them that they went through with each other or with their parents and the people around them. It's just so much comes to light, and it makes so much more sense why they can't have their past being brought up, especially two people that are running for an election against each other, but not just that, in general, like for their spouses and their families at the present day. There's just so much that like needs to stay in the past, but obviously that doesn't happen. So I definitely enjoyed this one. I think the audiobook was really, really nice. I would highly recommend the audiobook. You get 2 voice actors for the male and female main characters. I read it at some points, but like I said, I'm kind of in a slump and audiobooks are definitely helping right now, but I enjoyed this one. It was a good read. It's not my favorite like second chance or anything like that, but I was definitely invested. There's a lot of, you know, information and secrets that really kept me going. I'm glad that I ended up reading this one, and I would definitely recommend this one if you're interested in it. But that is the end of today's video. Thank you guys for anonymously helping me out and choosing out my books. If you commented picking one or the other, I had so much fun filming this one. We may not have found the best reads ever, but I think it was a fun idea. I honestly would like to do it again, but since you guys know what I was doing after this video is out, I'm gonna have to find another way to be sneaky. Let me know if you've read any of the books in this video, and let me know if you caught on to what I was doing at all. And also let me know if you liked this idea, because I can definitely do it again somehow. We can figure it out anonymously. I feel like you guys will catch on to me next time, but we'll see. Let me know if you enjoyed. I hope you did, and I will see you hopefully in the next one. Bye!